Did you miss the Coinbase IPO? If you did, you can leave the FOMO behind because on today's show, I'm going to tell you about 3 stock ETFs that already own Coinbase. Stick with me. Be here or be nowhere. I'm Ron DeLegge with ETF Guide TV. Great to have you with us. Some people have been saying that you got to own Coinbase because it's the only way you can get exposure to cryptocurrencies through stocks. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's 1,000% untrue because we're going to take a look at 3 stock ETFs that already own Coinbase inside their portfolios. Now, before we do that, just a quick reminder, if you're here for the first time, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out our other weekly programs like ETF Battles. In fact, some of the ETFs we're going to discuss on today's show have been featured in ETF Battles. So I've got a link in the description section below to our series ETF Battles. It's a weekly series. If you haven't had a chance to see it yet, I think you'll enjoy it. Also, don't forget to check out my viewer resources section, which has online classes, free ebooks. I've also got a portfolio grading service where I'll tell you exactly how your investments do. A, B, C, D, or F. Do you pass or do you fail? We'll find out at portfolioreportcard.com. Now, getting back to Coinbase, we are going to take a look at the most anticipated IPO of the year. It made its debut on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange, and it did not disappoint. The stock opened at 381. It popped all the way up to 429, and it ended its first trading day with an immense market cap of $86 billion. Just incredible. Now, the San Francisco-based firm is the first U.S. cryptocurrency exchange to go public, and it's really ushered in a new era of maturation for digital assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. And so if you missed the Coinbase IPO, which ETFs already own it? Well, let's start with the ARK Innovation ETF, ticker symbol ARKK. And this is one of those ETFs that we've talked a lot about on this channel. It's been featured in many ETF battles. This is also the first and flagship ETF from ARK Funds. ARKK, as you can see here, already owns around $260 million worth of Coinbase's stock. Now, that may seem like a lot of money, but keep in mind, ARKK has just over $22 billion of fund assets. So Coinbase, this position that it's got in the stock, represents just around 1% of the total portfolio. It's not that big. Now here's another look at an ARK fund. This is a newer one. This was added to ARK's lineup back in 2019. This is the ARK Innovation, ARK FinTech Innovation ETF. That's ticker symbol ARKF. And this fund, like its larger sibling, has just a 1% stake in Coinbase, actually just a little bit less than that. ARKF, by the way, focuses on the fintech investing theme. So holding Coinbase makes a lot of sense for this type of ETF, and I could see this particular ARK fund, again, that's ARKF, scaling even more into shares of Coinbase, and I could see eventually, it wouldn't surprise me if Coinbase becomes and graduates to a top 10 holding in ARKF. Next up is the Block ETF, BLOK, from Amplify. Now, this fund holds around $16 million worth of Coinbase shares, which is just over 1% of the fund's total assets. A Block has around $1.4 billion under management, so this is, on a relative basis, a very small overall percentage of the portfolio that Coinbase represents. So all 3 of these ETFs with this stake in Coinbase, keep in mind, are actively managed. That means that the managers have lots of flexibility to add these new stocks like Coinbase to their portfolios. And so the other thing to keep in mind is that most index-linked ETFs usually require some type of minimum trading periods and liquidity factors and other things that the index providers may have as restrictions for entry. And so that's why they don't get immediately added. A company like Coinbase that's gone public, they don't get immediately added to the ETF's index. The first index-linked ETF to add Coinbase will likely be the Renaissance IPO ETF, the ticker symbol IPO. So there's another fund that will likely own Coinbase in the very near future. Now here's a 3-year look at the performance chart of GBTC, which tracks a basket of Bitcoin, and we mapping it against BLOK versus ARK and then ARK-F. Very impressive returns over the past 3 years for all three of these products. Now, ARK-F does not have a 3-year performance history. I'm not sure why it got included in this chart, but you can see that since its inception in 2019, it's delivered a handsome 165% gain. Our last chart is a 5-year look at performance, and you'll notice GBTC has dominated with an incredible 8,200% return. My goodness. Now, lest I remind you that the peaks and the valleys in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are super extreme. So when cryptos go up like they have been recently, they go up ballistically. But man, when they crash, they do so fantastically. And you can see those peaks and valleys pretty sharp here. So again, this is a good time to remind the audience that if you decide to add some cryptos to your portfolio, or maybe you've already done that, just be very aware of these peaks and these valleys. They're very extreme, and so that's why it's so important to have correct position sizing. This is crucial to making sure that it doesn't upset the rest of your investment portfolio, and that cryptos act as a complementary feature versus allowing them to overtake or dominate your investment portfolio. Well, how did you enjoy today's episode? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit that like button if you've been enjoying our content. Don't forget to subscribe to ETF Guide TV. Be sure to check out our weekly show like ETF Battles. And also hit the resources section. Like I said earlier, I got some wonderful things that can help you, including online classes and free ebooks and the portfolio report card grading service. Well, that does it for today's program. I'm Ron DeLegge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.